You folks for being so patient with us. My name is Florentino. I'm off camera on the chat. I'm the CEO of InterTalk, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We've had some audio glitches with our interface, and I apologize. We used it last night, and it was flawless on a concert. And, you know, sometimes with technology, it doesn't always play out the way you'd like it to play out. But we're excited. We have the master of the bass, the man who I am a bass player, and I'm like many of you tuning in, fell in love with Bunny's playing with his time with Chick Corea, his own band, Cab, and he has an amazing relationship with ESP and LTD. I was going to mix those up, folks. So ESP is put his guitar through the LTD line. So if you see, there's a link at the bottom there of the screen. If you're on a computer, if you're on a phone, just scroll down and you'll see Bunny Brunel has his ESP bass linked for that, as well as for his ESP has a benefits and discount program. So make sure you take advantage of that. In that same, you'll see those boxes there, and we want to also give a shout out to Virtuoso Bass. This is Bunny's passion project to shine a light on some of the greats that have come before, as well as some of the ones that are up and coming. It's all about bass, so make sure you check that out on Amazon. And you know, with all of that said, I don't want to talk anymore. Again, thank you very much for your patience. I'm going to turn it over to Bunny.
All right, what's happening here? Just let's warm up and play something. And I'm going to play The Prankster. It's a recording I did for Cab. Here we go, just for fun. So that was the prank. It's something that I composed with a very fantastic music composer. He does movies music, Sandeep Chowta from India. So, and we did that together, and I think it's a fun tune. So I would like maybe this is one of my ESP model, design that I designed for ESP, they call the LTD model. You can find those, they're really good. This is the fretted one, and I'm going to use the fretless one. So I have a 4-string right there. This is the 5-string, and I'm gonna jump on the 5-string fretless. I'll play you the hit track of Cab. It's called Cab, so we're gonna play that tune and see what happened, and then after we can talk, and if you have any questions, I will be glad to answer them to you. Here we go. Here we go. That was with the amazing Tony McAlpine on the guitar and Dennis Chambers on drums. So we're talking about like top of the line musicians. And for people who wonder why cab, because it was when they asked me to make a record with Tony and Dennis, you know, I thought, oh, Dennis Chambers, C, Tony McAlpine, A, you know, and I didn't know that it was McAlpine with an M, and Brunel, so, oh, cab, that sounds good, you know. We kept it like that. So, but it was not an A, it was an M, but close enough. I thought everybody liked it, so we kept it that way. So this is the fretless from the same model, the Bunny Brunel LTD model from ESP, and if you have any question about it, you can ask that, or any other questions technically and things like that. We can get into the clinic. You're supposed to give some information for people to help playing the bass. So please let me know questions. Florentino, do you have anything you can say?
Yeah. Actually, from one of our other social medias, not on our homepage, but we're broadcasting out on all social medias right now of Enter Talk. So we're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, so many different ones. I can't count them all. So they're going out, obviously, on our own homepage. But we have first question was, why is the bass strap in the position that it's in? And then the second question is, why only a 5-string fretless and not also a 4-string fretless? So there's two questions.
I didn't understand the other question about what was it?
The guitar strap. You've got it attached to the front.
Oh, the idea is just like since the beginning. You know, I'm a guy who started with a Fender. You know, I had a precision Fender. If people saw me with a Chick Corea, they remember I had a precision Fender. That's what I was playing, and I'm the one who did, to cut the frets and all that, and then. Even I saw the bottom horn right there to be able to go further. And the problem with those instruments, on top of it, I mean, precision, I had some pickup, neck pickup that I really like, but then the bridge pickup, that's where you're getting the meat of the sound. So that's what I did with it, And the thing is just the balance of the instrument. Like terrible. You put it around your neck and the thing, whoop! Falls like that. So I was playing with a volume pedal with my foot holding the bass, and blah blah blah. The problem is like you mess your back when you do things like that, and that's what pushed me, to design an instrument. I wanted to have something that is balanced right, And I was asking Carol Kay, who told me that actually, when Leo Fender designed the guitar and then the bass. He was talking to somebody that plays several instruments, a good musician playing a studio musician, and when he designed the thing, that person is kind of very overweight, and so the only way he would play was sit down and put the bass on his knees. So he actually never put it around his neck, so he had no idea that the bass was not good. Okay, so and that's the reason that she told me. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name. The name of that person, but one day I'll see her and I'll ask her. She's going to remind me. Anyway, so I decided to make something with a, with a horn that arrive a little bit past the octave, and that you can put the bass. You want to play that, it stays like that. You want to put it this way, it stays, up. It stays up. That's the main idea, So and you can see that now all the new. We're talking about 1985 when I came out with the model. It was first with a company that was owned by Gibson called K-Muse, and I still have the first one that they made for me, and then it became the Gibson made the Bunny Brunel. And since then, I can see all the new people who are making basses. Have they're all doing with a long horn. They realized that was the only way to make the balance right, So that's a good compliment. I helped the manufacturer designing instruments that are balanced. That's now you question why that? Because that really, if I take that thing out, the bass is kind of dangling and things like that, and it goes this way. That's why you see people playing with holding this with a forearm and thing like that, with going to the front right there. It's actually something that I copied from a friend of mine from France called Tony Bonfils. Excellent bass player. There's a lot of that recorded so many things in France and all that. A studio musician and a friend of mine from the city of Nice. And I saw him play like that once, and then I started that. Now I'm just putting a strap lock that really holds it very well. And the idea is just it really holds the bass completely. You don't have to hold it. It stays by itself. As I always say as a joke, it's like a piano. You don't have to hold the piano. You just play it. So that's the same thing. I can just play the bass. That's the idea. you know, like that, and it doesn't move. And on top of it, it's a little, I can see, because when you play fretless, to play in tune, you know, it's not like an upright bass when we kind of have position with the eyes, the neck, you know, whatever. On electric bass, whether you here or here, it doesn't make any difference. So to play in tune, you know, I have fret markers. And when people ask, it's just like a 3/4 to be in tune. You have to be 3/4 of the thing. And the thing that I did, I can really see where I put my fingers, because you see, it tilts the bass a little bit, so it's just perfect, like that. Here we go. You got the answer. So what is next, Florentino?
Awesome. We have a question about why only a 5-string fretless and not also a 4-string?
Well, you know, when I did it with the Gibson, and then after that with Carvin, they had both. You know, people would order, and this one they may be able to order a 4-string fretless. Maybe, I do not know that exactly. It's something you have to email and ask ESP, you know, if they would do it, because if they do the fretless, they can do the fretless, that's for sure.
All right, we have one more question, and then we'll get back to a little here, sir.
Okay.
Do you have any personal habits? And this is from Earthcrawler, the nickname.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. I didn't hear your question.
Oh, okay, let me tuck my head out here. Do you have any personal habits or tricks for navigating chord changes, or is it purely chord and scale knowledge? And that's
well, you know, it should, I actually give bass lessons, and I teach all my students how to improvise. The idea is just each chords, you know, are going with a mode. The modes are like, if you play a C major scale, for instance, and you start, you know, from the C, you play the C majors, that C major is called Ionian. That's going to go with a major chord, major 7 or 6, C6 or whatever, if that particular chord is the key of the tune. Okay? You'll see when I say the other thing, you're going to understand. If you start from the second note, it's going to be D Dorian. You're still playing C major, but you know the pattern that you're using is like going to be, you know, it's going to be like a. That particular pattern, the Dorian pattern, is actually the scale that should be called the minor scale. Unfortunately, all the music is taught with the classical system, you know, for them, major, oh, they're going to be major, minor, up, they're talking about from, you know, the relative minor. So, oh, that's the minor scale, it's the relative minor. But that doesn't work if you improvising in music. If you have somebody playing a tune, rock and roll, you know, that's going to be Dorian. It's not going to be the natural, you know, the Aeolian or whatever. So that's the pattern most used for minor chord. Minor 7, minor 11, minor 13. That's the scale. Now if you start the major scale from the third, from E, you have a E Phrygian. Because that scale is a minor scale, of course, because it's got a minor third, okay? It's got a fourth, fifth, a flat 6, a dominant 7, and that's the octave. That's, if you have a minor chord that is the third of the key, in this case we are in C major, so you understand that's the third. So then you have to play the Phrygian scale, okay? Now if I start from the F, this is called Lydian. You see that it's got a major third, it's got a raised fourth, major 7th, and that's the octave, 6th, okay? This is actually the scale that goes with major chord. When it's not the key, that's the scale. So for the natural sound of a major chord, if you're adding note, you're going to come up with a raised fourth on it. So the Lydian is for all major chord, major 7 and flat. Unless it's the key, then you play the Ionian. All right? Then you're going to the Mixolydian. You can see that's got a dominant 7 and a major third. That's going to be like, if you're playing, you know, some kind of rock and roll, you know, with G7, that's the pattern you're going to use. Is going to be the Mixolydian. You can make a bass line. You know, that's how you're going to make it. If you're playing the blues, like I'm going to do it in G, you know. If you play the blues in G, it's not in a key of G at all. The blues has 3 keys at least when you play the blues. It's 3 different keys. It's not in the key of G at all because the first chord is G7. So you're going to play G Mixolydian. And then it goes to C7. That's going to be Mixolydian. You see, you're changing key right there. The first key was, you know, you are in the key of C major with G Mixolydian. Then you're going to C7. You're playing C Mixolydian. So, oh, what key am I in? Oh, yeah, you become, you know, in this case, I played here, you can see, you know, it goes into F major. You're actually in F major. Then it goes back to G, don't you're in C major. Then it goes to D7. Yeah, you're gonna G major. You know, then back to C, F major, and the G7, then you're in C. So you see that when you play the blues, when they say in C, it's not there's no key, there's 3 different keys. You just have to know that it's a dominant 7, you're going to play a Mixolydian through it. When you move to the other chord, it's the same thing. So if I'm playing in A Mixolydian, D Mixolydian, E, D, okay, so that's how it works with the Mixolydian scale. Then we get to the classical, what they call the minor scale, the Aeolian. That scale is only used when the chord is the relative minor of the key. In the case of C, it's A, so you have Aeolian. Okay? Then you have the Locrian, which has a, you know, a minor but a flat 5 and a dominant 7. So this is the perfect scale when you see a minor 7 flat 5. Locrian. Okay? So this is just to give you an idea about how, you know, to answer that question when you're soloing. When I'm soloing, I'm just playing the scale that correspond to the chords. Some of them create a group. If I'm playing a D minor, I'm gonna Dorian. Going to G7. Oh yeah, G Mixolydian. To C major. I'm in the key of C major right here. You have Dorian, Mixolydian G, and C Ionian. So there is a group of chords that end up being in only one key. A lot of pop music are writing songs using the chord in one key. You know, it's like I do. You heard that bass line many times. So it's a C major, E Phrygian, A, you know, the minor, active minor, D. So you have Aeolian, Dorian, Mixolydian, and back to C Ionian. So when people are soloing, they're just playing, you know, in C major. Okay, so that a lot of pop music is actually written like that, and you end up having to play only one scale. When it goes to jazz, then it's different. We're creating different movements with chords. Some of them are actually pretty complicated. If you were to try to play a giant step, it's moving really fast, and it's changing. On top of it, it's not quite square, so people have a hard time to play those things like that, you know. You know, you have all those chords, because you keep changing keys and all that. And it's just like everything, matter of practice, okay? So that would be the answering your questions about what do I play when I'm improvising. You know, I usually use modes comparing to the chords. That's it. So let's play something else now, and then we can go to what is the one on the list, please? The slide. Okay, I had the honor to play with Chick Corea for quite a while, and we recorded a song called The Slide. It was funny when we recorded that song first. He came at the studio. He had no title for it, and it was basically 5 chords. So that's how he called it. When, you know, 5 chords. We're gonna play that. You know, so beautiful song. Here we go. There we go. So that was a fun song, you know, so just and as I say, I was very fortunate that I met Chick Corea. I was playing in Ronnie Scott Club in London. I was playing with a fantastic Brazilian singer pianist called Tania Maria, with Andre Coryell on drums, you know, killer drummer, one of the greatest. And you know, every night there was somebody who came, you know. I didn't know who he was, you know. He was had like a glass of cognac, you know. It was like, you know, was telling me, oh, you know, this only like Stanley, Jeff Berlin, Jacko, and you, and that's it. And I was saying, oh, thank you, thank you. And on the Saturday night we were playing until, including the Sunday. On the Saturday they say, oh, I'm sorry, tomorrow I'm not going to be able to come. I say, well, okay. You know, so no, I'm going to see Chick Corea. I say, oh, well, that's better. Go see Chick Corea. He say, no, but I'm going to bring him. He has to listen to you. And, you know, tap him on the shoulder, say, just bring the whole band. You know, I didn't believe him. I didn't know it was Patrick Moraz, you know, famous keyboard player from Yes and all that, you know, and he actually did. And the Chick Corea came down and he listened to me, and he left he left a message for Tania Maria and said she's going to have a hard time keeping her bass player. So I end up seeing him again. He was playing in Paris. To see him backstage, and he asked the managers, oh, take his number. And he called me in 1978, August. He called me to come and record a Secret Agent, and here I am, you know, 40 years later, I'm still around. Obviously, it works very well, so thank you, Chick Corea. Without Korea, I probably will be collecting unemployment in France. All right, well, you know, enough things like that, stories. About more question, Florentino, you have anything?
Yeah, we have from Excited Habitant. How can a bass player have a unique tone like you have, a sound like Stanley has and like Billy Sheehan has, when we close our eyes and we know it's them playing the bass? Please advise.
Well, this is an excellent question. You have to realize that when I played bass, you know, I was into like a solo and all that. I'm going to actually talk about the people I was listening to. I was playing in a college band, you know, the guitar, you know, just like strumming chords on the guitar. And one day they told me, oh, here is some money, go to that place and rent an acoustic bass, you know, someone's going to play the acoustic bass. Oh, okay. So I went and picked up a bass, you know, and came back with an acoustic bass and all that. And oh, the guy cannot come, so why don't you play the bass? That's how I became a bass player. I started playing the upright bass. I was like, oh man, you know, having fun. And a week later, somebody lended me an electric bass with the amp, you know, and all that. And I was listening to, first was the Willie Dixon. People probably don't know that guy, you know. And I had, you know, the guy was slapping, so didn't really know what he was doing. And after I get into listening to Oscar Peterson, so you have Oscar Peterson bass player, Paul Chambers, you know, all those amazing guys, Ray Brown, Ron Carter, all those guys, you know. But in between, I start listening to Eddie Gomez. He was playing with Bill Evans, and oh, that guy was like the soloing and all that. So I got into doing that. I don't play like him at all, but I understood the thing, you know, because I knew about harmony. I could kind of solo, but this guy was like, you know, amazing. And then I found out that there was two other guys before him, you know, that's when he gets the thing. And end up even meeting him and talking to Bill Evans. We had a dinner in the south of France, in Antibes, at the Jazz Festival on Epin. And Bill Evans told me that Eddie Gomez could sight read anything on the bass. Just a chart, he'll figure out how to play it, you know. So, and people have to know that excellent musician, amazing, you know. And I doing things like that and playing. And then after that, you have Stanley Clarke. So I was already like playing like a bat out of hell, you know. And then one day he came out with that guy, you know. There's a friend of mine who came at my house. He had an album. He knocked on the window and said, "Listen to that guy. He plays like you." It was Jarreau. It's like that was a good compliment what he was saying. But the idea was because I was soloing and things like that, and so there was nobody else doing things like it. So I listened to Jarreau, and it was like wonderful. What I love with Jarreau is the melody, because I was just like, you know. So, but I listened to him, you know, oh, so beautiful. So I started playing melody, and I became a very melodic player thanks to Jarreau Pastorius. Because that's what I like. I figured out, oh no, you gotta play some melodies, and basically that's what it is. But before then, I listened. You know, the bass player that I learned from was like Bernard Odom, you know, who played with James Brown, and the people used to listen to, you know, the Beatles music. You know, and the bass, that was the bass line, you know. Bernard Odom say, oh, so that was much more interesting. So I kept listening to James Brown, and then you had Otis Redding. You have all those great bass players that set up the style of the funk music, and that's why I came out with a virtuoso bass. I wanted people to know where the thing is coming from. You know, look, Carol Kay, you know, that she's on so many recordings. The advantage, she was a very good sight reader. When they had a big band recording arrangement, you know, they would hire her because she did a fantastic job just sight reading the bass lines and things like that. And there's a bunch, you know, of players that I listened to that was great. Chuck Rainey with Bernard Purdy. Oh, what a rhythm section from hell. People I could really play. So this, all those people that I'm trying to talk to people and mention it, because they, you know, people should know where the thing is coming from, because the media tend to talk about the same people all the time, and they focus on those great bass players. So
Bunny, looks like we're running a little bit out of time here.
Okay.
Why don't you play us out? Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the ESP Presents Bunny Brunel Masterclass. We'll be doing more of these with Bunny. He's a great friend and obviously an incredible performer. So play us out, and then we'll let you folks know when the next one is.
All right. So what do you have on the list there? The next one is what?
Dolphin dance. No one. No one.
Let's do no one. You know, get some. You know. Here we go. It's called like that because it's hard to find the first beat.